Good evening, everybody. Welcome to On Deck here on FTSN. Had a little technical difficulties yesterday, so we had to move to Thursday. But glad we get to do this today. It's been hot as heck here in Florida. September, terrible. We're almost at August, September, terrible months. Pretty gloomy, so not too happy about that. That's a little depressing, but at least I had one upside today. Get to come in and talk a little baseball with everybody, which is always the highlight of my day. Definitely going to kick off. We got some topics obviously on our header. We're talking about. I wanted to talk about some 5 bubble teams, that what they need to do on the playoff verge, what they need to do. Also, we had some big stuff drop. They dropped the pools for the World Baseball Classic. We had the Little League Baseball Classic in Williamsport that they've been doing since 2017. That was on Sunday. That was the Tigers and the Yankees. I want to kick it off with that one, the Little League Classic there in Williamsport. I thought it's unbelievable seeing all. I mean, first off, playing a baseball game in a minor league stadium, it just like even watching that game on TV, the sound of the pop in the glove and the ball off the bat is different than just watching an MLB game on TV in an MLB stadium because it's so much smaller. You can just the crack of the bat was unbelievable. I loved it. I thought it was a great game. Besides my Yankees losing that game, but you have 2 pitchers. You got Stroman who threw 6 innings, not giving up a run. Then you got maybe future Cy Young guy Tarek Skubal up there just dealing. Had a couple shaky innings, but got out of everything. My first couple times seeing Skubal, I haven't obviously we don't get much Tigers here. I haven't seen him much besides highlights. I was really impressed with Skubal. The guy's a big left-handed pitcher, but the guy works the zone nice. And to see a pitcher like him who his dominant pitch is a changeup. So when he was coming up, I think he was working curveball slider or curveball splitter or something like that. And they said, no, we're going to start working the changeup again. And me being a youth, I coached high school baseball. I scouted high school baseball. I really love that. And I've coached youth baseball. I really love that. I feel like our young pitchers now don't develop the changeup as much, where that changeup is, I feel, me being a coach, even though I was not a pitcher, I feel that's the second pitch you should develop right there after your fastball. You should go straight into that changeup. And it showed on Sunday with Skubal. He locates that changeup very well, and he gets outs, gets ground balls. It's exciting to see this. We got a lot of good young pitchers. Obviously, Paul Skeen's right up there with them. But Skubal right there, probably front runner for AL Cy Young. So it was exciting. A little side note is we got a team in the Little League World Series. I know it's Little League, but a team in the Little League World Series from, I want to say, Lake Mary, Florida, which if I'm correct, Lake Mary, Florida is in Orlando area. I could be. Maybe it's not Lake Mary. Yes, Lake Mary, Florida, which I've only been here a year, so if it's not in the Orlando area, correct me. I don't really care. If I'm wrong, that's fine. Yeah, it looks like it's in the kind of the Orlando area, outskirts of Orlando, but they're in it. I've always loved the Little League World Series. Exciting time. Just to see all those players come around from all around the world. You got teams from Taiwan, Japan, Venezuela, Aruba, Puerto Rico, Cuba, and all these teams around from obviously United States. And this year we have a team who's in from Florida, and that's why they do the Little League Classic. Yankees lost in 10. Bad loss. I was very unhappy with that because both times tying the game, they shifted Volpe. Bam, they hit it right there in that 5-6 hole, in that 5-6, right where Volpe should be. And then second time, bam, when they won the game, shift him again. He's in that 5, right in that 6 hole. So I mean, I'm not a huge. I understand you got to play the situations, but sometimes the shift kills me. Hey Peter, how's it going? Thank you for coming in. Yeah, Dodgers. I like to. I mean, what's not to like about the Dodgers right now? So getting a lot of guys back in. You know, the guy just got Kershaw back, added Flaherty. Bueller's coming back. Glasnow just went down, which is hurting. Yamamoto been on the 60-day for a while, but Dodgers. I mean, that's a nasty lineup, and I mean, I see them right there with the Phillies. Obviously, they're playing really good right now. As they're 3.5 up, best record in baseball. Was it 76 and 52? So kind of turning it on. But yeah, I mean, they added pitching at that deadline. Added Kopech in that bullpen, which always helps. Added Flaherty, which lengthens that rotation. Maybe they put him in the pen. Glasnow, that's always been his issue his whole career. He's been hurt. So we'll see if he's coming back. I mean, Glasnow, when healthy, is one of the better pitchers in baseball. But with Bueller coming back, Kershaw, even though I love Kershaw, even though he's always had Kershaw's had struggles in October. I love Kershaw. I think he's one of the better lefties we've seen in the game. Not just in the last 20 years. I'm talking overall. So I'm scared of the Dodgers, and I think they'll be right up there with the Phillies. I mean, injuries helps. As to why they probably have their number, but I mean, the Dodgers they started off slow. They're starting to pick it up now, getting guys back. They just got Mookie back. Was it last week? So I mean, that's a big part of the lineup. So I wouldn't worry about the Dodgers. That pitching staff is strong, and the addition of Flaherty, the adding to the bullpen on the trade deadline, I think Phillies are going to hit a little bit, getting a little injuries. Staff Suarez starting to slow down. Strong 1-2 for the Phillies with Nola and Wheeler, but I don't know about Ranger Suarez, and once he comes back, the guy one playoff. So I think Dodgers are turning it on. It's all going to come down to being a guy from Los Angeles area. It's going to come down to Dave Roberts. If we're really getting down to it, it's come down to Dave Roberts. If we're watching the Dodgers' most playoff years, he doesn't. I'm not a fan of his managerial style. He plays the matchup sometimes in October that does not work. So sometimes you just got to go with the hot hands. I wouldn't worry too much about the Dodgers. You guys just got Mookie back. You have Paganis in center, Teoscar Hernandez. That pitching staff strong. We'll see when Yamamoto comes back. Glasnow, they need Glasnow in the playoffs, though. I mean, that's a big guy in the starting lineup. We did have a little injury news for my team. The Yankees did put Luis Gil on the 15-day DL. I think I don't think so. Pete, this is gonna be. I'm gonna try to get back. I think Dave Roberts, in my opinion, has the same issue as Aaron Boone does with the Yankees. They're both yes men. So the GM can start can start they can the ownership can definitely start predicting who they want. So I feel the same. And I feel the same way. I think if they don't win this year, next year, I think maybe give them 2 years just because of all the additions. But just because it's hard to win on that first year. But I do agree with you, Peter, that he should be fired if you don't win with the payroll they got. But we did have some injury news. My Yankees uh, put Luis Gil on the 15-day DL. Hopefully, it's just some get him some time down. Maybe get him some rest, which will be good. They did. They took 2 out of 3. Had the rubber match with Cleveland. Got 2 out of 3 from Cleveland. One today, one yesterday. Pretty big games from a couple of big pitching performances from Nestor Cortez, who went 7 innings, no runs, which is big because we need Nestor. Had a great pitching performance from Garrett Cole, went 6 innings today with no runs. And let's see, Cole went today. He went 6 innings, giving up 1 hit, 2 Ks, which is pretty big because we need Cole. Judge, the man's on a tear. Obviously, hit 2 yesterday, hit 1 today. He's got 48 home runs. I mean, the guy's, if he keeps on this pace, he's an MVP, the MVP, and having a better season than his MVP year a couple years ago. Since I did see the stat, since April 28th, Aaron Judge has batted 380, 44 home runs, and 105 RBIs. The guy's just out of his mind. Is that Juan Soto making that? In my opinion, it's having Soto there. It's having the protection that you're going to have to pitch to one of them, and Soto gets on base a lot. The guy works walks. The guy gets base hits. The guy gets on base. So you're not trying to load him up. Austin Wells right behind him, who's starting to swing a good bat. Who's batting 255, 1-3 today. So it's that's a nice pickup. But I think it's the addition of Soto's really helping out Judge. On other news, Ellie De La Cruz, who the guy, if you want a guy to watch, a young guy to watch, Ellie De La Cruz is a highlight reel. The guy's amazing. The way he throws, the speed he gets from across, from shortstop to first, his speed around the base path is amazing, and he has a great swing. Is a 2060 guy so far. We'll see. Maybe he gets to 30-30. Maybe he gets in that 40. I would say the 30-30 club is probably a pretty good bet for him. Being that we got 5-6 weeks left in the season. So I'd probably say 30-30, 60 stolen bases. So, I mean, obviously 30-30 club, 40-40 club is going to be a little hard right now for him. But if you want a player to watch Ellie De La Cruz because he's very exciting. I'm going to jump into some bubble teams. Some teams, I guess some teams facing some issues going in the playoffs. Obviously, number one is the Mariners. Mariners definitely, they added at the deadline, but they've been struggling. Had a 10-game lead on June 18th over the Astros. By July 19th, that lead was totally gone. So, I mean, you added Rosarina, you lose Julio Rodriguez for a little bit, but he's back. Now that lead's gone. Now they're 5 games back to the Astros. I mean, Astros got a tough series coming up against the Orioles, so maybe they pick up a couple games there. Personally, for me, I don't root for the Astros, but I need the Astros to at least win 3 out of 4. Yankees got the Rockies this week. I need at least a 2-game cushion because, I've said this whole time, that AL East is tight. That AL East is going to be back and forth all year, and it's back and forth right now as the Orioles are playing right now. Bottom of the third, 0-0. They're on Fox. If anybody wants to tune in later and watch that game, that's what I'll be doing after the show. Definitely, that's bad for the Mariners having a 10-game lead on the 18th of June to not having a lead by a month later, and now you're down 5 games. They fired their manager, Scott Servais. I don't know how to say his last name, but that's kind of they've gone way downhill. And now they're 64-64, and that wild card's even looking pretty tough. That they won't get a wild card as they're 7.5 back. Another team actually a little surprised is the Rays are only 7 back of the wild card. Maybe the Rays make a little run here. But Mariners, I'm not surprised your manager gets fired if you have a 10-game lead on the 18th and it's down to 0 a month later, and now you're 5 back. So I'm not surprised manager gets the can. That's just how it is. Maybe some teams got to do that a little more. But number 2 on my list is the Red Sox. The Red Sox right now it's 67-59. They're 3.5 out of that last wild card spot. 3.5 back of the Royals. But I think for me, even though I'm a Yankees fan, I think this Red Sox team it's a success. It's obviously in Boston, it's never a success unless you win the World Series. Same thing in New York. It's World Series or bust. But going into the season from the offseason they didn't really make any big moves, big pushes. So it's a success. You're getting some solid young breakout guys. Obviously, Devers is the guy in Boston, but you're getting a solid breakout season from Tyler O'Neill, Connor Wong, Jared Duran, who was the All-Star MVP. Is the guy does it all. I love Jared Duran. Went to Long Beach State College, Long Beach State, the Dirtbags in Long Beach, California. Love him. Guy just plays the game the right way, every way he goes. And then you're getting Willer Abreu's also solid. So Boston's getting some solid young guys coming up and helping the team win, even though they're 3.5 back. You're definitely, they're building something interesting. You got Byron Bello, who's 11-5. They signed him to a contract before the season, going off his potential, and it's looking like it paid out. You got Jared Duran bat 293. He's 27. Bello's 25. So even though the Red Sox, they're 3.5 out, maybe they get in that last wild card, but you got a lot of young guys. Number 3 on my list is the Mets. The Mets are, they're 2.5 out on the wild card. Will they be able to sneak past the Braves? I don't know. I don't know if the Mets have enough to do that. Is it? The start of the year. How the Mets started and now how they're playing now. It's definitely it show. They're playing tough. Obviously, Francisco Lindor betting 266. Is this the swan song in New York for Pete Alonso, who's a free agent at the end of the season? Are they going to go big in 25? Obviously, 25, the big name on the free agent list is Juan Soto. Are they going to go big and steal from New York? Lindor having an MVP year. I think it comes down to the pitching for them. So I don't know if they have the pitching to get it done. I don't know if they have the starting pitching. I don't know if they have the bullpen. you got Severino's been up and down since the Yankees. Sean Manaea, Jose Quintana. I don't know if they have the pitching to get it there. So I mean, the Mets. I think it always comes down to pitching. I don't think they have the pitching to get them there. I think they go big in 25. Steve Cohen's got a big wallet. And I think they go hard for Soto, and I think it's going to be a bidding war for Soto. The next team on my list, staying in the NL East, there's the Braves. Braves are 2.5 up on the Mets in that last wild card spot. I mean, they were considered probably the best team, one of the best teams in baseball, if not top. I think they were the best team for me going into the season. I had them number one, if not top two, top three best teams in baseball right up there. I said Dodgers, Orioles, Braves. I was Braves, Dodgers, Orioles. Orioles win in the AL East. I thought they're the best team in the AL. Orioles right now have a really tough August. But 2.5 up on the Mets in that wild card slot. I mean, and 2.5. I mean, you lose Acuna, you lose Strider, you just lost Austin Riley, who, I mean, granted, wasn't having the best offensive year so far, but you lose him for 68 weeks. That's, I mean, 2.5 up. I mean, and their pitching has not been all that great. Obviously, you're getting another Cy Young performance from Chris Sale, who's lights out this year. But he had 13 wins the last time I checked. Let's see what Sale's. I mean, the guy's seven back of the Phillies, so it's looking like it's the Phillies division. Sale's 14-3. I mean, you still got a solid 1-2 with Sale and Fried. Fried starting to pick it up a little bit. Max Fried, also a Southern California kid from Harvard Westlake High School in Encino. He's 11-7. Who's that number 3 pitcher? Charlie Morton's kind of older. I don't know if they have it this year. Morton's older. Lopez is, another guy, but he's young. So I mean, considering the injuries, they get that wild card. They can get in. The Braves can make some noise. We saw the Braves do it in years past of coming from that wild card and winning it all. What they wanted was at 19, won it from that wild card, and they, scrapped together that outfield. And that outfield still got Michael Harris, Jared Kelenic, who's been a solid pickup for the Braves. So, I mean, maybe Acuna comes back, maybe not. But, I mean, it all comes down to, are they going to be able to get hot at the right time? The outfield's still good. You still got it. Duvall's got some playoff experience. Kelenic, who's young. Harris, Michael Harris the second. You got, Jorge Soler. Marcell Ozuna, the guy's, home run or bust, but he's, out of his mind, swinging a hell of a bat this year. 37 home runs, batting .309. Yeah, it's been down year a little bit for Matt Olson, but he's solid. So I mean, can the Braves make a little noise in the playoffs? My last team, the number 5 I got is the Royals. 3 games back in the wild. 3 games back in the wild card. They're holding strong of that last spot, 3.5 up on Boston. Actually, excuse me, they're 2.5 right now, which could change because Orioles are playing right now. But I mean, they're both 71 and 56. They're right. Right there in that AL Central hunt too. Only 2 back of Cleveland, who lost 2 out of 3 to the Yankees. So they're right there. I mean, you want the playoffs for the Royals. I want to see the Royals in the playoffs, but say they do falter a little bit at the end of the season, this season is a huge, huge success uh, for the Royals as they lost 106 games last year. I mean, you get Bobby Witt, who they added, got him on an extension in the offseason, which looking like a great deal. Bobby Witt, if Aaron Judge wasn't having such a good season right now, which he is, he's an MVP guy. I mean, he's batting 352, 25 home runs. His on base percentage is 402. So I mean that's his. I mean what he's that's an MVP guy you put up there if Judge does falter. You're obviously you're getting an unbelievable pitching performance. Seth Lugo, was a spot starter guy, was definitely a spot start guy. Bullpen with the Mets, most of his career we've seen him. We saw him start in the past for Team Puerto Rico in the World Baseball Classic. But he's full time starter this year, 14-7, 3.02 ERA. You got Ragan, who's 10-8, 183 Ks. You got Michael Wacha, which is a good sign for having Waka's having a good year. He's 10-6, 3.33 ERA, 3.33 ERA. Because that's a guy with some solid playoff experience. You got Singer. So I want to see the Royals in the playoffs. I like what they're doing. Their solid youth movement with you got a solid youth movement with Salvador Perez, who's having another, Salvador Perez guy batting 274 on base percentage, 333. This guy's obviously got some serious, a little taste of playoffs, 14, 15, but he's stuck with the Royals his whole career. And I think he's right. One of just watching Salvador Perez, I love watching him because the life and the love he has for the game is amazing. And he plays that way. 34, still one of the best backstops in baseball. I mean, the wild card is definitely, it's a 4-team race right now. Obviously, it's Baltimore, the Yankees, whoever takes that division. I think Baltimore probably gets it. They definitely have. I think they're going to end up. Baltimore's got one more series against the Yankees, but they've already taken 4 out of 6. So, are the Yankees going to have to, they're going to have to sweep that series. So I think Baltimore, if it comes down to it, Baltimore gets it. Obviously, Baltimore 74-54, lost last night. Thank you, Mets. Yankees 75-53. Right now, a game up on Baltimore. They're playing right now down 1-0 to the Houston Astros. But it'll be interesting to see what happens there. The East is definitely a two-man race, but it's going to be coming all the way down to that last day, which those last couple days in September, for who's going to win that division, who's going to get that wild card, because we see it's pretty locked up there. That obviously the interesting one is the AL Central. AL Central is very interesting, as you got the Indians, who are just having a phenomenal year with, you lose Shane Bieber. You don't have a lot of big name ticket guys on the roster, but they're just finding a way to get it done. I mean, you got guys. You obviously got Jose Ramirez, who's another guy I love because he says he wants to stick there in Cleveland and stay there his whole career. That's the way it's done. It's obviously 32 home runs this year, 101 RBIs. But you don't really have a lot of big names. You got Steven Kwan, who's batting 310. You got, Naylor is that, Josh Naylor is batting 239. I mean, you don't have a lot of big names, and pitching wise, they don't have a lot of big names either. I mean, you got Tanner Beebe's 10-5, you got Blake Lively's 8-10, and 4-3, but they're only two up. Minnesota's right there, only two back. Obviously, same record as the Royals. Minnesota's another one. I mean, who's the big guys here? Obviously, you got Wilkin Castro batting 256. Carlos Santana was a long Indian, and now Indian played a little with the Royals, and now with the Twins. I mean, Max Kepler's been there for a long time. Will Buxton come back? Buxton is off injured. Carlos Correa's got a lot of playoff experience. Where Royce Lewis, who's definitely off injured, if he plays, another guy who can really, guys got a bat. But that Central is exciting. It's up in the air. I think you should watch that AL Central. It's going to be fun. Moving to the West, obviously the West, we got the Astros who have been really hot of late, super hot of late. But they are on a 2-game losing streak. But they have won 7 in the last 7-3 in the last 10 games. 10 games over 500, 68-58. I mean, the Astros just find a way to get it done. Obviously, Yordan Alvarez, the guy's a monster at the plate, behemoth. I mean, you got Pena, who's World Series MVP. You got Bregman. You got Altuve, who just finds a way to get it done. Batting 300, guy always finds a way to get it done. It's going to come down to pitching. I mean, you got Framon Valdez, the guy's that's your horse, that's your dude. But will Verlander ever be, come back? Only 11 starts, so it'll be interesting. Moving to the East, obviously, I in my opinion, the East is the Phillies. Phillies all day. I think it's the Phillies division, 7 up. Obviously, Alex Baum has been 280, 295. Schwarber, one of the better leadoff hitters. You got, I think, the best 1-2 in baseball with Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler. Ranger Suarez, who's 10-5. We'll see what happens then. But who's that number 3 pitcher? Once it comes to October, is it Suarez? Is it Ranger Suarez? Is it Sanchez? Is it Tyann Walker? But I think they got that locked up. Moving to the NL Central, we got the Brewers, who are 73-54, 10 games up. It's the Brewers division. We're at 6 weeks left. The Brewers got it. I call it Brewers. I mean, I wrote the Brewers off way too early. I wrote them off before the season because of trading Corbin Burns. But you're getting some hell of performances. You're getting a 287 from Wilson Contreras' younger brother, obviously an all-star starter. Willie Adames, 22 home runs. Bryce Strang batting 256. Jackson Torino, the rookie, batting 273, starting to turn it on. Friedlich batting 261. You get my boy Garrett Mitchell back, who's batting 235. Unfortunately, you do lose Yelich for the year, who's batting 315, which is going to be tough. But it's the Brewers division. I think they got it basically locked up right now. So I think that's the Brewers. Moving to the NL West is turned into a little interesting division where I was going in the year. It's the Dodgers Dodgers. But you're getting Dodgers 4 games up, 76-52, best record in baseball. But you're getting former NL champs at Diamondbacks, 72-56, only 4 games back, who are turning it on. and you're getting, Marte's batting 298 with 3 home runs. Corbin Carroll, who's been very slow, only batting 222. Gurriel Jr.'s batting 274, so they're starting to turn it on, and they got solid pitching. Obviously, you got Zach Gallen, who's, he's got 9 wins. You got Bradiff, who's 408, but having Gallen, then you got Jordan Montgomery. Is Montgomery going to be able to turn it on? I want to know, do we think Montgomery's a little slower this year because it took him so long to sign that he missed so much of spring training? I kind of think that in my opinion, I think that's played a little toll on him. For me, if I go back to the COVID years, we saw some of those pitchers who are great pitchers, aces of the staff, struggle because those pitchers need that time to ramp it up. So I think that's why he's struggling a little bit. Maybe he changes agents with Scott Boras. But we also got the Padres, who are 72 and 56, playing solid as late too. Padres are, Diamondbacks were 7-3 in the last 10. Padres are 6-4 in the last 10, only 4 back, and they are right now. Arizona and the Padres are both tied at top of the wild card, but they're getting solid performances. You're getting 291 from Jackson Merrill. Jackson Merrill, actually, his betting odds just went up for Rookie of the Year over Paul Skeens. This guy's 21. I'm a Skeens guy. But I mean, this guy was right there with Paul Skeens. He's batting 291. And not slowing down and not showing any rookie tendencies at the plate, not showing any fear. So I mean, I could see him taking that Rookie of the Year home. Machado, obviously, the guy's a stud defensively at third base. Guys he chews up anything in front of him. And the range, obviously, he's a shortstop, so he's got a solid range and got a cannon from the left side from third base. Batting 268, 20 home runs. Profar batting 289. All-Stars, got 76 RBIs. His on-base percentage is 386. Hassan Kim batting 233. You add Luis Arraez before the deadline. That's a huge pickup because the guy can swing it big time. When will Tatis be able to come back? Pitching, I'm a little, here. You're obviously you add Dylan Cease in the offseason. That's a big ticket. He's starting to pick it up, 12-9, 186 strikeouts. You add Michael King with that Soto deal. But who's that third pitcher? Is Musgrove going to be able to come back? He's only got 12. Musgrove's hurt. Darvish, only 11 games pitched. So those are your big guys you expect going out there game one of the playoffs that you need, but they have not been able to put it together. But I think that, that AL Central you got to watch, and even though I had given it to the Dodgers right off the bat, I think it was, you got to watch the NL West too. Maybe the Padres, maybe the Diamondbacks find a way to close the gap and win the West. And like we've seen in the past, teams can make it to the World Series from the wild card. So I think those are two to the Central. I think and AL Central is something you really got to watch. I'm really excited for. We did have just the other day the World Baseball Classic, which will be in 2026, did come out with their pools. So I don't know. I obviously, like the NBA, we can send our big guys out during the Olympics, right? We can do that because it's the off season. But like I liked what the WNBA did and took a month off. I wish we did that for the Olympics. Obviously now in 2028, the Olympics being in our home country in Los Angeles. I wish we did that and come out and represent, but that's not going to be the case. But with the World Baseball Classic, they did come out with the pools. We got Pool A, which will be in San Juan, Puerto Rico. We got Puerto Rico, we got Cuba, Canada, Panama, and a TBA right now, which will be a qualifier. That will be an exciting division. Puerto Rico is an exciting team to watch. Cuba, depending what Cuba can get because of all the defections they had, they can't play. But Puerto Rico's exciting. Moving to Pool B, which will be held March 6th through 11th, and 2026 will be in Houston, Texas. We got the U.S., we got Mexico, Italy, Great Britain, and a qualifier. Which I don't know. I was trying to find what are the teams qualifying, and I'm still looking for that. But I think we got that. Mexico is probably our only team going to be really, right there with us. Maybe Italy, but Mexico. You got Pool C, which is Pool C is in March 5th through the 10th in Tokyo, Japan. That's Japan, Australia, Korea, Czech Republic, and a qualifier. I wish I knew who the qualifiers were. I'm sure it'll be Nicaragua will be in there, maybe Colombia, because they definitely have put some teams together in the past. And Pool D held right here in Miami, Florida. I guess not right here for me because I'm in Tampa area. I'm in Sarasota, but in the state on March 6th through 11th. Pretty good bracket. I think this will be the most exciting bracket you want to see. Obviously, you got Venezuela, which is an exciting team. The amount of players we got from Venezuela in the front, who retired in the big leagues too. The guy's still playing right now. Obviously, you got Salvador Perez, Jose Altuve, Acuna, and the guys who in the past they've put in. You got Felix Hernandez, you got Miguel Cabrera, 2 Hall of Famers. You got Dominican Republic, who always puts out a solid stacked roster. Always finds a way. You got Netherlands, who is another one, puts out a stacked roster. They get a lot of those guys. Obviously, Curacao is a province, so they get a lot of those guys from Curacao. I mean, you got Didi the Glorious from there. Jerickson Profar will be playing probably. Xander Bogaerts. That's a lot of good players. And then you got Israel, who get a lot of those, grandfathers in, or the parents are from Israel, or they dual citizenship guys, and then you got a qualifier. I'm excited. It's a long way for the World Baseball Classic. Obviously, another 2 years, but it's fun. I've always liked the World Baseball Classic, and it's fun to watch. But on the MLB front, we'll move back to that. I think it's going to be really exciting. We're seeing some great performances. Bobby Witt. Bobby Witt, best average in baseball, right there. Judge 333. You're getting Soto's right there. He's batting over 300 too. Yeah, Aaron Judge 48 home runs. Ohtani 39. You got Judge with 118 RBIs. Ramirez with 101. Witt's got the most hits with 178. Ellie De La Cruz 60 stolen bases. Not even 20 up on Shohei Ohtani. I mean, I never thought Ohtani a stolen base guy, but he's starting to show that in LA this year, which is very, very surprising. But Ellie De La Cruz leaps and bounds above everybody else. Pitching wise, Seth Lugo right there at 14. Tarek Skubal, who's probably going to be that Cy Young from that AL with 14 wins. Chris Sale, 14 wins, probably going to be that Cy Young from the NL, excuse me. Skubal's got the best ERA with 2.49 ERA. Chris Sale, 2.62. Followed in Zach Wheeler's got 2.73 ERA. Most saves are Hensley. I don't know his first name. I mean, Sale's got the most strikeouts. they put quality starts now. Logan Gilbert's got 20 quality starts. Burns, which is Corbin Burns with 19, which is a big piece they added. Is going to be a big piece of that postseason roster for the Orioles. But I'm ready. It's exciting. We're here winding down in August. September will come right. So October is right around the corner. Best, right up. One of the best times of baseball. I just, for me, I just when you hear that Fox baseball song come up, it's October baseball. It's one of the best times, and I'm super excited. I'm pumped, especially because my Yankees are competing. They're right there as a team that may be in the World Series. But I mean, I'm pumped because I just love baseball. So I'm super excited. Want to thank everybody who joined us today, commented. Always remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I am Russ Morgan here on FTSN. This is On Deck. You have a great night.